Hello, Algebra 1. Today we are talking about point-slope form, which is a new method other than slope-intercept form that we will be writing equations in. So again, we've already learned about slope-intercept form, and today we will learn how to write the equation of a line in a different way. Just like slope-intercept form requires your slope and your y-intercept, point-slope form needs a point and the slope. So this is what point-slope form looks like. Notice it has parentheses, P for parentheses and P for point-slope form. It looks really complicated, but it's really not. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. When you have point-slope form, we'll have a point and our slope given to us. And I'm just going to label this X and Y. So the way this works is you're always going to start with your Y. You're just going to write Y down. And then this minus y1 means you're going to do the opposite of your y coordinate. Well, my y coordinate is 8, so I'm going to use a negative 8. Equals, next comes your slope, which minus 4. Open your parentheses. This first x you're just going to write down, and then the minus x1 means we're doing the opposite of our x coordinate. Well, my x coordinate is a negative 2, so when I do the opposite, it's going to be a plus 2. And that's it. That's point-slope form. We don't need to solve it. It stays like this with the parentheses. So whenever you see point-slope form, you know you're going to keep your parentheses. All right, let's try it again. All right, again, I'll walk you through it. We put y and then the opposite of our y coordinate. So opposite meaning we'll have a plus 3 equals our slope, parentheses, x, and then the opposite of your x coordinate. So that's a minus 5. And that's all there is to it. Let's do 2 more. Y, and then the opposite of our y coordinate. So that's a plus 10, equals your slope, parentheses, x, and then the opposite of your x coordinate. So that's a plus 1. All right, and one more shot here, y, and then the opposite of your y coordinate, so that'll be a minus 6, equals your slope, parentheses, x, and then the opposite of your x coordinate. So this is an 18, we write it as a negative 18. So there you go, point-slope form, easy peasy. Now, let's say you wanted to convert point-slope form to slope-intercept form, PSF to SIF. All we have to do is distribute and solve for y. So let's take a look at these two equations. Both of these are in point-slope form, PSF, because they have parentheses. If I want to move this to slope-intercept form, SIF, I just have to do 2 things, distribute and solve for y. So step 1, distribute. Bring down your y minus 5 and distribute negative 2x minus 14, and then we're solving for y, so I just have to add my 5 on both sides. And that gives us a negative 2x. Negative 14 plus 5 is negative 9. And there you go. This is slope-intercept form, or SIF. All right, let's try this again. Step 1 is distribute. Don't worry that you have a fraction. 1/2 times x is just 1/2 x. 1/2 times negative 4 is really just saying half of negative 4, which is negative 2. And then again, we need to solve for y, so I'll subtract my 6 on both sides. Y equals 1/2 x. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. And there's slope-intercept form. All right, so now we're going to do all the steps in one. We're going to start in point-slope form, and then we're going to use what we just learned to distribute and solve for y. All right, so let's begin in PSF. Remember, PSF means we have the parentheses. Okay, so PSF, point slope form, P for parentheses, and then I like to think slope intercept form, SIF. This is the one that we solve. So P for parentheses and S for solve. All right, so we start with a y, and then the opposite of our y coordinate. So this is an 8. I put in -8 equals, then it's your slope, parentheses, x, and then the opposite of your x coordinate. So this -12 becomes a +12. All right, so now we're in point slope form. Next, we have to do the 2 steps that we did over here, distribute and solve for y. So now we are moving into slope intercept form. Start with the distributing. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x, and 1/4 times 12, is just a 3. Okay, so there's step 1, almost there. We still need to solve for y, so we will add our 8 to both sides. And we'll get y equals 1/4 x. 3 plus 8 is 11. This is now our solved equation, so this is the SIF, slope intercept form. All right, so again, P for parentheses, S, we have solved it all the way. All right, let's try another one. Start in point slope. Okay, we should always be beginning in point slope form. Y, and then the opposite of your y coordinate. So this is 9. We want a -9 equals your slope, parentheses, and then x, and then the opposite of your x coordinate. So that's going to be a -4. Okay, there's point slope form. Now I'm going to go ahead and do slope intercept. So first we will distribute, which is a -5x. Careful with your signs here. -5 times -4 is +20. And then remember, we still need to solve for y, so we will add 9 to both sides. So it's a y equals -5x plus 29. And that is now solved. This is your slope intercept form. So now let's bring some graphing into this. We're going to write the equation of the line in point slope form, and then we're going to distribute and solve, and then write our equation in slope intercept form. And then we're going to graph. All right, so point slope form, we have 2, 8 and m, 1. Y, and then again, opposite of our y coordinate, so that's a -8, equals, my slope is 1, parentheses, x, opposite of my x coordinate, so that's a -2. So P for parentheses again. Now it's asking for SIF, so I'll go ahead and distribute. So it's just 1x minus 2. And then again, to get slope intercept form, we do have to solve for y, so add your 8 over for me. And this just gives us y equals 1x plus 6. So now look, we're asked to do an additional step here. We're going to graph. So this is what we just quizzed on. M is our slope, that's a 1. B is our y-intercept, that's our 6, but we're going to write it as 0, 6. And now let's graph. Y-intercept is up at 6, and our slope is a 1, up 1, right 1. Okay, and then we'll reverse it. Down 1, left 1. So you're going to have a lot of dots here. And draw your line. Hopefully a little better than I did. All right, I'll give you a minute to get the rest of those dots. All right, so now number 10, we're actually going to go backwards. This time I've given you the graph, and we're going to use this to write point slope and slope intercept form. So our point is this guy right here. It's at -5, 2. Remember, for points, x comes first. And my slope, I've drawn this little triangle for you. I've gone up 2 and right 3. So that means my slope is a 2/3. Remember, up and then over. All right, so now let's write PSF. Y, and then the opposite of my y coordinate, equals my slope, parentheses, x, and the opposite of my x coordinate. So P for parentheses, now I'm getting slope-intercept form, so now I'm going to go ahead and distribute and solve. Okay, I'll bring down my y minus 2, distribute 2/3 x, and I've got to do a 2/3 times 5, which I will have to math frac. That's a 10/3. Okay, and then I'm still solving for y, so I'm just going to add my 2 over. Don't be intimidated by the fact that you're adding 2 to a fraction. You have a calculator. So you're just going to take your 10/3 and add 2 to it. And there you go. It's just 16/3. So 2/3 x plus 16/3. No problem. Finally, this is a problem I'd like you to give a try on your own. And then come back and see what the answer is. The slope of a line is 2 and goes through the point -4, -9. I want to know, does this line also go through the point 1, 1? Prove your answer algebraically and graphically. Okay, so again, you have a line with a slope of 2 and you know it goes through -4, -9. I want to know if that point or if that line also goes through 1, 1. So go ahead and pause the video, give it a try, and then come on back and see if you were right. All right, welcome back. So the correct answer is yes, it does. Here's how probably most of you figured this out. My guess is that you went down to -4, -9, which is down here, and you said, oh, well, the slope is 2, so that's up 2, right 1. And you just keep on doing that. And eventually you get here, which is 1, 1. So yes, it did work. So that would be proving your method graphically. Here's how to prove this algebraically. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find the equation of both lines, or excuse me, it's actually one line, but with both points. So my m equals 2, and I have these 2 different points. So look what happens when I write PSF, point slope form. Y plus 9 equals my slope is 2, x plus 4. Again, these are both pluses because we're doing the opposite of what you have for your negatives here. So that's point slope form. Let's do point slope form for the other one as well. Y, and then the opposite of our y coordinate, well, that's just a -1, equals our slope. Opposite of your x coordinate, well, that's a -1 as well. These clearly look nothing alike, but look what happens when we distribute and solve. Okay, so I'm now going to move this to slope-intercept form by distributing 2x plus 8 and subtract my 9 over. Y equals 2x, 8 minus 9 is -1. Okay, so there's my slope-intercept form. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this problem. Distribute to 2x minus 2, and I'm going to add my 1 over, and look what happens. I actually get the exact same equation. So even though I did PSF with these 2 different points, we got the same equation of the line. Since they're the same, it means that yes, that line will go through both points. All right, there you go. That was our lesson for today. We will continue with point slope form tomorrow. Have a good day.